Hey friend, welcome to the Get Rooted in Health podcast. I'm Gabby Flater, a faith-led wife, mom of 3, certified nutrition consultant, personal trainer, and passionate about changing lives. I know how frustrating it can be to navigate the health and wellness world. You want to be motivated to prioritize your well-being and wish you were more educated when it comes to cultivating a healthy home. Maybe you're a mom who's completely burnt out and needs a fresh perspective on life, or you're searching for a place to feel seen, heard, and encouraged in a godly manner. No matter if you're doing the dishes, getting your sweat on, or drinking reheated coffee while watching the kids play, there is always an opportunity for growth. If you are ready to finally take action about these desires and are ready to learn, grow, and transform your mind, then you are in the right place. It's time to establish deeper roots so you can enjoy a more fruitful and fulfilling harvest. Let's dig in. Hey friends, welcome to the Get Rooted in Health podcast. This is your host, Gabby, and I am so honored to have you here today. And I hope that this episode finds you well wherever you are at in your week, in your day, in this season of life that you're in. And today we are just going to chat real quick about homeschool. And this is my second year diving into the homeschool world, and so I thought I would bring you along for the journey because I know I shared in prior years, so last year, what we were up to, what we did, how I was growing and stepping into it, not really sure. It was new territory and still very much is new territory for me. But I share these things to encourage you or maybe just give you a glimpse into, the homeschool life. Whether or not you homeschool or not. And yeah, that, we're getting things done over here, and just the things I've learned along the way about, how it can look from family to family, and just, I guess, how I have now started to see things different than the school system and, the cookie cutter, sit in desks, listen to the teacher, go to the next class kind of thing. And how it's going for us. So this year I have 2 of my kids full-time schooling, I guess we'll call it. And my oldest is going to be 7 in January. And my next one that I have been working with this year on basically just a lot of K-4 kindergarten type stuff. He's 4.5, or almost 4.5, I should say. And we are working on mastering those basics, hammering those basics of letters, the alphabet, colors, shapes, numbers, counting, all the things. So we are doing really well with the counting aspect now, and recognizing numbers and things like that. But the letters is where we are having the hang up. So it's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. But these are the things that we got to learn in the beginning to be able to move forward and progress at all into the future things. So I have to be careful because my oldest has very similar personality to me, and type A personality, very smart, and wow, I'm really talking myself up. He's just a really smart kid, and things tend to seem to come a little easier to him. And it's been really encouraging to watch him learn to read and do math and play these big games that are just like adult games, like board games and stuff, where there's a lot of strategy and thinking, but he has a perfect dad to help with those kinds of things, and I'll play along too if I know the game. But his dad is really good at explaining games and concepts because he loved doing that kind of stuff. So we would take Winston on different levels of different kinds of games, and then we would say, all right, I think you're ready for this game. And it's like for ages 8 and up or 10 and up, and he's not even 7 yet. So he's really done wonders over the last year and a half, we'll say. So with my oldest, we are still doing, so we finished his reading book I am not doing the reading lesson book with my 4.5-year-old yet because he doesn't even know his letters. He calls them numbers sometimes. And I'm like beside myself. Patience, right? Seriously, homeschooling, it requires a whole other level of patience outside of just mom life patience. So I'm not always perfect at it, but I try to remind myself that I am the teacher as well. And hey, I had to learn somewhere too. So I had to have a really good patient teacher, even though I wasn't homeschooled. Had to have those people be patient with me and teach me and whatever my mom taught me. So, so we are doing, so we're done with his reading lesson book, and he is into just like reading all the books. We've gotten books from other grandparents, like, hey, here, give these to Winston. This is his level. We've gotten stuff at the library. We are getting more and more books. Like, if anything, books are awesome. And we actually have implemented a really neat thing. We had heard of a dad who would give his son, maybe it was a quarter, but we're doing a quarter for every book he would read. But it couldn't just be like some, 10-page big font book with a bunch of pictures. Like, he's got to read a book, and then he's got to tell us a few things, or we can ask him some questions about it, and then he's got to be able to, regurgitate all of that information and answer the questions to know that he actually read it and processed it and understood what he was reading and the concepts or the storyline. And so we made a little container for him to put some quarters in, and it's neat because, why not reward your kid for reading books that, and they're only going to get bigger and bigger and more in depth as he gets older, what he's reading. So I'm excited for him to pursue that. I think that's a really neat thing. Money is a motivator for sure, and I guess we'll see. Excuse me. So there's the reading with that, and then I'm working on, so the math program or the math curriculum we use is Math UC, and they have a spelling / like handwriting type thing called Spelling UC. So we are using a Spelling UC. It's going through different nursery rhymes with him, and he is saying them out loud. He's clapping, or he's learning the syllables. He's learning what commas are, periods are, how to write in lowercase, what's the difference between uppercase and lowercase. What else? He is now, there's a section where I am now reading, like, there are 3-letter words out to him. I'm reading them out loud, and he is writing them by sound. So if I say dog or hog or, mud, he is writing those, and then, I see how he does. So he's cruising through that. This might be a little too easy for him, but in all, he actually is getting really good practice with writing his letters, especially the lowercase, because most kids will start with the uppercase because it's easier. And so he's doing really awesome with that. We do a page a day, real simple. Math, same thing, Math UC. He's into the second curriculum, or the second level, we'll say, the alpha, and there's each lesson has like a short video to explain the concept, go over it, and then we will sit down together and I'll help him understand that concept if he doesn't get it, and he does a lesson or 2 a day in that book. So it's all about the repetition, and gaining that familiarity. So he is adding big numbers. He's learning how to estimate. He's learning how to carry when adding. So if you have a number greater than 10, how to carry that extra number over. And he's learning about money and the decimal points, and how to what are dimes and nickels and pennies worth, and story problems. So it's really good, and it's really neat to watch his brain, like, just take off with that and understand the concepts. Also, then I remember growing up doing speed drills. Does anyone ever remember doing speed drills in school for math? So I found a book on Amazon for super cheap, and I am copying the pages out of the book so that I can reuse it for my other kids down the road, and he's got a folder, and I'll print off like a whole week's worth of them. So every day I just tell him, go grab your folder, grab your next speed drill, let me know when you're ready, and then I set a timer, and he does like 50 to 60 addition problems, and they'll progressively get harder and harder. There'll eventually be some subtraction ones, but we have not worked on subtracting yet in his math curriculum. And so he gets to beat the clock, and it's super fun. And I think that it's just a great way to make it fun, keep mastering those skills, and a lot of those things will just become second nature and autopilot with the adding and then all of that stuff. So those are 2 core things. So the math and the spelling and I guess 3, and the reading. I make sure that he reads books. I think we need to have some quiet time. Why don't you grab some good books to read. And then he's got some chores, like he does dishes, he'll help sweep, he helps set the table. Wednesdays, we're kind of making the day that he makes oatmeal in the morning. And then, we want to eventually, pick a night that he could make a basic dinner, and he would learn to make that, like rice on the stove and some chicken and steam a vegetable and make it real simple, and something that he can master. I eventually want to get him learning how to do sourdough. He can read numbers, like he can use a scale, he can mix things up. So I think it would be really good for him to start learning some of those things as well. He takes care of his laundry. Like when I wash it, I say, hey, you boys have a whole basket of clothes, clean clothes, go sort your clothes, put them away in your bins. I don't care what it looks like, because they just rip clothes out of there anyway. And they are on chicken and cat duty in terms of like just checking the food. I mean, I am too, but there are times when I said, hey, can you go check the food and the water for the chicken, or see how Dahlia's cat food and water are doing. So those are things. So really just getting them involved in a lot of household things, and really starting to give Winston a little bit more, and then have Titus up and coming, my 4.5-year-old, with some of those chores of unloading dishes or sweeping, which he's still like a little on the shorter end. So this broom, it's a little hard for him. But like today, I had him fill up my flour container of my like baking flour. I needed to refill from my big bucket of flour, my pail, put it in the one that I keep in the cupboard to grab and go. So he filled that up for me. So it's all about finding those little things. But he loves to be in the kitchen. He's my little kitchen guy. So he typically will be the one that'll enjoy, helping cook something or bake something with me. But so that is what we're doing with the oldest. And like I said, I have a little preschool bundle. I found this really neat website, homeschool resource called Arrows and Applesauce. She's on Instagram, and there's no way like paid or an ad or anything. Like I'm just saying what I used. And I found she had some really cool bundles, super cheap. She created all the pages and stuff and worksheets and things. And I bought the preschool bundle and I printed it out for Titus. And I hole punched it, put it in a binder. I got dot markers. I got nice markers. I've got, so I got those. And then, so we're going through the letters, there's shapes, there's counting. Just tons of fun stuff. So we're going through that. I have made a parking lot alphabet thing that I saw a lady on Instagram, thank God for Instagram, where you use a piece of cardboard and you make stalls, like parking stalls for cars along the edges, a whole bunch. So I just measured them out along the way, and then I wrote letters in each stall, and then I found a whole bunch of cars, like, Hot Wheels and stuff. And those little garage sale stickers that you put on items, those little circle dots. There's a whole bunch of different colors, and then I wrote the lowercase letter on all of those on different cars. And so he has to drive the car around and match it to the uppercase letter. So that was a super fun thing. Like I figured maybe he needs more of a hands-on thing, and they love to play with their cars. So it's actually super sweet because I've gotten to witness Winston getting to sit down with him and help him, where I'm like, oh, that's so helpful. Like, Winston, why don't you sit down with Titus and do this while mom, maybe gets dinner going or lunch or something. And it's super neat just to hear, like, see Winston, if, once that is like the next level, when you know it and you can teach it, boom, you're golden. You're golden. So it's super sweet. And then I also bought like these not flashcards, but there's a big giant like half sheet of paper with the big letter A on it, and then a picture of, like, let's say apple, and then like areas that he can trace the letter, and then trace a word that starts with A, and trace the uppercase and trace the lowercase. And so I laminated them, so they're just like half sheets of paper, and then I put a hole punch in each one, and they're just hanging by a little ring, a clip ring, and he can use dry erase markers and trace those anytime. Oh my gosh, I just looked over, guys, on my wall, and there's like a stink bug, or whatever you call those things. It freaked me out. Okay, you stay right there, little guy. Oh my gosh. Okay. I was like, what is moving? Where was I? Okay, so the trace things, he can do those, easily at the table while I'm working with Winston or something. And that gets him more in front of letters as well, and the concept of writing them. And we're listening to the ABC song, we're doing puzzles with ABCs, all the things. If you have any tricks that you found have helped your kids learn their letters, like, I'm all about it. I've known some people that do like the cardboard letters for a week or whatever, and they decorate like the letter A that's on the cardboard, and you hang it up, and you do A-themed things, like foods that are with A, and whatever, like, you make a theme out of each letter. So maybe some year, we'll see. But for now, I feel like I've got a lot of different things for him in terms of that. We read books together. He's involved with some chores. He watches Winston's math sometimes with him. And then I actually do have, we do a devotional at breakfast most mornings. I have a little devotional that we'll do. And then I have a history book. The Tuttle Twins is another resource that I'm doing. I probably will try and link to most of this in the show notes so that you can see what I've been using, so you can make your own best informed decision. But the Tuttle Twins, I bought a whole bunch of reading series books for Winston. They basically just teach there's no crazy wonky things, in the world that's going on right now. It's just all the basics of back to what history's taught us, the concepts of entrepreneurship, the concepts of different laws, and how, the economy, and, all just basic things with no extra things in there that are unnecessary. And then I have a history book, 2 volumes, so it's just me reading it to them. So 2 to 3 days a week, I will be reading and having conversations with them about just the foundings of America, and all the different, just how we were founded and the way people lived, and just basic American history. So we'll see what kind of comes in the winter. I just got in the mail maybe about a week and a half. I have not had time to open it and dive into it yet. Hopefully by this week or next week. I bought a chicken, because we have chickens now, so not everything is chicken, a homesteading curriculum that this family, they're going to be putting out, like a cooking one, and what was the other one? There was another one, but they did this chicken one, and I'm super excited for their other ones because I will buy them. And so they had a level for Winston's age and a level for Titus's age. So I got both of their activity books, and then I got the teacher's guide. And we're going to learn about raising chickens and literally everything that has to do with chickens. And even down to like entrepreneurship things with them, and building a coop and slaughtering, and, I'm just watching this bug climb. Okay, bye, buddy. Oh, and, so we're going to go through that, and that might be more of like our winter thing. Who knows? That we'll really get into, but, I feel like we do have a lot on our plate with all of that. I was thinking of doing the human body, but I feel like I need Titus to be at that level, that next level, so that I could capitalize on both boys at the same time. So somehow, some way we're doing it. Juliet's kind of along for the ride in some things. We'll sit and do blocks and colors, and Alex will too, Dad. And, it doesn't have to look like the 8 hours of school or whatever. It really does not. And my mindset has really changed over time towards what it has to look like, where I was like, I am going to do my kids such a disservice. I don't know how I'm going to fit it all in. And really, the most important things for our children is, to learn for life skills is they're going to need to know how to read. They're going to need to know how to read, okay, and write. They're going to need to know their math, basics of math. Now, if they really, really want to go into engineering and architecture and all of that kind of stuff, science, you're going to need the next level math. But basic concepts math, we can do this. I think history is important, but, it's all about, like, what are you doing it because you love history and you want to teach your kids history, or, is it more of like the hobby, extra type of subject thing to learn? And I think it's a great subject because it teaches us so much about the past and what we can learn from the past and how we got to where we are. And so I want to keep incorporating it, even though it's not my favorite. We'll just say that it's not my favorite thing to do, but I do see the value of it. And I just want them to keep learning basic life skills. Like, that's super huge. And then also social skills / public speaking. I heard it on a podcast that was talking about homeschooling, and I was like, yes. Getting your kids exposed to some public speaking, whether or not, maybe that's at a family lunch and they get to stand up in front of their cousins or their aunts and uncles or grandparents and share about something that we worked on. That is public speaking. That is working on that. For my oldest, one of the things that we notice is he's really good at disc golfing. That's frisbee golf. Disc golfing is the official professional term, and we're really hoping that he takes off with it. We will tell him to go putt discs, go see how many you can make, or, we'll give him a drill or whatever, or he kind of now knows different drills and he'll go and do that. He'll watch them on YouTube and then he'll go outside and play. He's gone to spectate a really awesome event and watch the big guys play. So we don't know what that is in his future, but I would hope that we can get him involved in some things down the road. So my kids will be socialized. They will know how to public speak. They will know how to be confident. They will have people skills. I think some people tend to think homeschoolers, they put them in this box of like they don't know how to interact with the world. I don't know. I definitely did. I stereotyped it completely, 100%. Till I was, and there are some families like that, we'll just say. But I was exposed to a kind of a whole different side of homeschoolers, and I was like, oh, I see. And I've seen a lot of success come from that. So really, we're just not here to waste time. I'm not here to put my kids to fit a mold. I'm not here to teach them things that are not true, that are unnecessary. I'm here to have them gain life skills, value family. And it teaches me a lot about myself as I'm having to teach them. But I love getting to watch their brains work. It's neat to get to see how each one learns differently, and we get creative together. And I think it's going to be a really neat school year with Titus coming along. And you're wondering how I make it all work, because I still have a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old. Baby could be crawling on the floor. Baby could be nursing in my lap while I'm helping one. I could be baby wearing and making something on the counter while Winston's doing school at the table and we're talking back and forth. Titus could be doing a puzzle on the floor behind me there was a map puzzle he was doing one time, and Winston was doing math at the table. And I was helping both of them while I was trying to whip up something that needed to, ferment for like sourdough or something. I don't know. Or I was making a meal for a family one week, I think. And I kind of needed to really multitask. And so everyone was just doing something. And Titus was behind me on the floor doing the puzzle. And I was like, okay, well, now which one looks like, let the box. What picture is that? Find that state. And, putting the map together. So it's not a perfect thing. Like the way I was raised and what I did with school, like it's just night and day difference. It's just night and day. And what I thought I had to look like, and now as I'm seeing, everything is very important, and there is a time and place for the different subjects and topics and all of the things. But we're doing real good here. And I have sensory bins that I can have my 2-year-old play with. She's playing with her baby dolls, or she's playing with puzzles, or she's whining. She could be whining. So, then you're like, here, just have some snacks and go play. Or I have Titus, my 4.5-year-old, playing with her while I'm working with Winston. It's kind of whatever roll of the dice I get that morning. Maybe I capitalize on doing the 4.5-year-old's schoolwork first, because his attitude and demeanor will be more fresh and happy in the morning. And Winston, I can typically get him anytime in the day. But I like to try and get us started at least by 9 a.m. Now, if they've been up for a while, I'm like, hey, we're rocking and rolling into the day, okay? We're doing breakfast and devotion, and then we'll roll into some school. And, then we have time to play and pursue other interests and hobbies, or make something fun in the kitchen. Or Fridays, I've been doing field trip Fridays right now. And I wasn't in town this last Friday, but they got to be with their dad. So that's fun. And so I think we're going to do another apple farm with some other people this week. We've done an apple farm. We did the zoo. I think maybe we can get to the library one week, but I want to get to another apple orchard. We're going to be going to a fire station with some other homeschooling moms. Oh, that'll be next Friday. So yeah, I guess we won't be going to the library. That isn't necessarily a field trip to me, but it could be an easy way for me to say, we're going on a field trip to the library. Some days we go to the Y, and they'll go on child watch there. So it's just living life together. We got chores, we got animals, we got life to live, dishes to do, laundry to fold, butts to wipe, all the things. And every day it just keeps going. So I just feel super excited to see what this next school year brings. I really want us to dive into some more of garden stuff too, learning. I have a bunch of resources that I need to dive into deeper and continue learning and mastering our craft with that. But so I will be sure that I link these homeschooling names and resources that I have talked about in the show notes for you guys. But I hope that this encourages you. I don't know if you homeschool or not. You can let me know if you ever have questions. I'm happy to talk to you, about how we decided, how we got started. We also, I forgot to share, so we are so now that Winston is at this, I think they had to be over 6, or I don't know. So we're registered in the state of Wisconsin, like as we're doing school with him. So we have to be sure that we do that. And I don't think we had to register a name per se for our school, but we wanted to come up with a name for it. So I think we're going to call it Rooted in Him. I don't know, Homeschool or Rooted in Him Academy or something. Just kind of following that theme because it just seems to flow really well. And it seems to be a really good theme for our family that, in and all, we're rooted in Him, Him being God. And from that, everything just flows. So that, I think, is going to be the name for our school, our little schoolhouse here. And it's super fun. And by the grace of God, I am making it through each day. We're learning lots. about each other. And this is great for me too. I'm excited about the chicken one. I feel like I'm going to school sometimes in some of these things. So stay tuned for what that chicken one is about, because I'm pretty stoked about that. That one is from the Jones homestead, but they made a new name. They rebranded their like business from where they sell their things. So there's so much out there. Again, there's just tons of stuff. Even just like hybrid stuff, like nature school I've seen people do. And there's going to be no co-op this year. Last year we did a co-op for geography. There's going to be no co-op this time, but I'm going to really try and just stay plugged in with different homeschool outings, even in the wintertime, or maybe plan one myself. And we'll kind of just see how it goes. So, all right, friends. Well, I will catch you on the next episode. If you found value here, it would mean so much if you would leave a rating and a review. If you would share this with someone that you know is thinking about homeschooling, maybe they do homeschool, just needs a fresh perspective. I think we all can do better by just learning from each other and opening our eyes and ears to new things. And just not saying that you have to homeschool, but maybe it's on the back burner for you, just with the times we're living in and the resources we do have. And maybe it's something that you guys are seriously considering. So again, happy to chat with anyone that might have questions, is unsure, or whatever it might be. I'm happy to be a resource for you as well. So happy school year to all of you, whether you are homeschooling or sending kids to brick and mortar school, we'll call it that. Make it the best year with those kids and all that they're learning and pursuing in the schoolrooms and in their hobbies and interests. All right, we will talk to you on the next episode. Bye.